Hello, everyone. This is Jimmy Cultist, back again with another logic video. Today, we're going to be covering the subject of how to create a four-legged puppet. First things first, we're going to be opening up the logic, putting it over here like so, and posing our puppet. Now, something to keep in mind is that although this is my particular way of doing a four-legged puppet, there's probably a lot of other ways that could also work just as well. But this is my personal preference. So, we're going to want the legs like so. I want to find out which direction they bend. Alright. Keep in mind, this is not anatomically correct, you know, for most four-legged animals, but it's a basic facsimile to teach you the basics, you know. Alright, we've got the pose, the basic starting pose. So, we'll be going in here to poses. This is usually where we have our running pose parameters and such, and our other finely tuned details. And we're going to be putting a chip in here, which is going to be called run / walk. And we're going to have to make some kind of a, you know, walking animation for a puppet here. There are different ways to do it. There's the running bounding method, and then there's the horse trot or dog walk. You know, I would advise using references of some sort, but let's see if we can get ourselves a horse trot of some kind. And there's another thing you could do is you could start with the two front legs, animating those, and then animating the two back legs. That kind of helps, you know, because your brain can get a bit confused when you're doing these things. Alright, let's see. Put it on loop. By the way, if you want to know how to open the action recorder, it's as simple as L1 and X. And we'll call this front legs. I will be doing the back legs as well, and a neat little trick if you want the timing to be exact is just to copy this out. Go back to the first frame. Don't know if this is exactly accurate, because I haven't got a reference, you know. I'm going off memory of, like, what horses and things. Oh, that's definitely not right. And it's pretty simple to just loop it like so. Pull this ahead. And since these limbs are all clearly labeled, it's pretty easy to delete the stuff we won't be needing. We won't be needing the hands or the chest. Now you may be noticing a problem with the back feet. That's because we are going to have to shut off the puppet's procedural animations in order for this to work. And there are disadvantages. The feet will not exactly adhere to the floor like they used to, but ultimately if you want that four-legged effect, I think that's probably, you know, a good idea to do away with it. The tighter your creature's build is, the easier it will be to get away with the effect, so keep that in mind. If it's really long, it'll probably be harder to make this convincing. But nevertheless, you know, Dreams has its own little sacrifices you have to make for things. But we'll call this shut off. With the procedural animations off, it should do nicely. Still not great looking, but, you know, it functions. And I'm sure animators who have more time could make something pretty brilliant with that. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and stick these in a chip and call them walk. These are going to be our walk animations. And we're going to put down a little keyframe. Going to turn on that. And we're going to label it walk also. And the issue is, now that we've turned off our procedural animations, we can't just hook up these outputs from the puppet interface. They won't really work the same anymore, at least I'm pretty sure they won't. Either way, they'd probably be glitchy even if you did use them, so it's better to use this thing, the movement sensor. The issue is the movement sensor, you know, its natural output is pretty sensitive. Just a little bit of movement will trigger it. And we kind of want something a little more substantial than that. We don't want it to where you're walking when you jump, although you could just shut this chip completely off with a keyframe during the jump cycle to fix that problem. If you don't want him walking in midair. It works fine enough. But nevertheless, we'll add this to our movement cycle. And give it a little test. Don't forget to add some blend time so that it looks more natural. I don't think our blend is working exactly as I would have intended. Let's try this out instead. Turn these two things off. And then turn them on with the keyframe. Occasionally when you put things in the chip, it doesn't quite turn off and on the way you would want. See, that's a much better blend when he resumes. He's still going too fast, of course. If we limit our... good way to judge, limit your run speed to 0, and let's see how fast he'd be walking at maximum speed. That's pretty good, I would say. Still looks a little weird, but, you know, best we can do under the circumstances. Something that might help is if he has a little turn animation, which I will demonstrate. Do we have a rotation sensor? That would be pretty... or an angle sensor. Actually, I know what we could do. We could have a regular old combiner. Hook the left stick up to it. And just have a slight drift animation in either direction. Actually, we won't need that combiner. We're going to call that one right, I think. That would be his right. And we'll call this one left. May need more severe changes if necessary, we'll see. But it's going to add a slight turning movement so that things will look a bit more natural. Little blend time, not too much. Also, I think we've got it facing the wrong way. More severe, because it's being interrupted by the other animation, which is actually alright. We don't want it to meddle with it too much, but let's add a more severe turn so that we can kind of get something going here. Yeah, we've got the inputs wrong though. It's looking fine, but we want to switch it so that minus is right and plus is left. There we go. Oh, it could be that it's not the right stick we're using. Did I use left stick local? Because that would actually affect it. It's just left stick. Yeah, you probably want to use left stick local. That might improve it a bit. Of course, we're going to have to switch inputs again, but at the very least, it'll work a little bit better. There you go, a bit more natural. Probably could make it a bit more fluid. Also, you could make turning slower to kind of compensate, because it's a little bit too jerky and quick. Let's make turning about 25%. Oh, that might be too slow. What's the natural speed? We'll make it 65. That probably will make it better. Yeah, that's a bit more my style. Alright. Now, as for the gallop, I don't know if I'm actually going to be animating the gallop. I guess I could, but basically all you have to do is have... Well, actually, you don't even need a separate sensor. Just take out a calculator, hook up to operand 1, and go greater than, and make a value. I think it'd probably be like 2%. I don't really know how fast it's going to be going. We'll have to check it. We're going to add speed back into the equation. And I don't really have a run animation. You could build one though, but I'm going to use walking as an example. Because I don't want things to drag on too much. We're going to speed it up, maybe increase the amplification a bit. It's probably going to look really weird, but I just need to have this. Alright. Leave this animation active, and then just press triangle on these old walk animations. And go to walk animations and press triangle on these run animations. Also, these chips don't need to be powered on, so that won't be any real big issue. Just you also might want to turn off the power on this so that those animations won't be active when running. Alright, here's walking. We might have the speed a bit too high on here. I'm gonna have to test his run speed real quick. So let's put this on remote control. Alright, maximum run speed is 4. Let's put it around 3 and see how that looks. And of course, make him controllable in the normal sense. 3 might be a bit too much. Let's try 2. That's a bit better. 2 may still be too great. 1.20. Let's try that. That's a bit better. Now you could just put a nice run animation in here and he'd probably look pretty good. What the heck. Maybe we'll actually program a run animation. It might be a little bit incongruous with our walk animation though, because I'm pressed for time. Basically though, starting animation. We'll need a guide, of course. Let's do this. We'll make the neck the guide, so I can delete all the other animations. I just want the exact timing of the thing to be the same. And just delete all of that. Leave the neck intact. Go ahead and get rid of the front legs, because we're gonna be doing the entire body this time. I guess the timing doesn't have to be exactly the same, since it doesn't have to match up with any previous thing. So maybe that was a bit pointless. And we can actually do mirror this time, because we're going to be having both limbs moving simultaneously. Don't know why I did that. Oh, I know why it is. Don't forget to turn off your amplification. You don't really need amplification. Yeah, I guess we're going for kind of a cheetah-esque run. Oh, just copy this, put it right under there. We already have the neck animation after all. And now let's try out our run. A little funky, but it has charm. Also, we don't really need to, let's take a look at this. Could set it longer perhaps, and also maybe take a little bit of the stretch out of this thing. I don't know if this would interfere with it at all, but let's take down the arm movement and springiness a bit. I've got another idea. Could use a little smoothness, so let's take out this, stick it in there, Like so. I think that might be a little smoother. Let's see. Yeah, see, there's more of a smooth transition into running. Anyway, that's all I've got to say on the subject of four-legged puppets. I guess we could demonstrate what it would be like on a slope to show you the downsides of the system, so to speak. It doesn't quite have the fluid animation of a two-legged puppet when going up hills. Not terrible per se, but just not as, you know, hands are clearly clipping, and when you're going down you have this problem. Now, matching the slope angle, I don't know if that would help at all. Probably wouldn't, but especially since we have all of our procedurals turned off, but it's worth a try. I suppose you could do some kind of manual thing that when it encounters a slope, it changes its animations using an angle detector. But for now, in the most simplistic state, this is our run/walk for a four-legged puppet. Hopefully you found that helpful. Oh, and he can jump too, although his animation is clearly for a two-legged puppet. We might as well fix that real quick. Four-legged jump. A little too springy for my taste. And we need a little bit of blending, I think. So maybe we could just add a tad. Doesn't hurt. Still jittery. Not a big fan. It's probably because we're turning this off. We should have that turned on with these and just leave it off entirely. Yeah, we're not really having that issue. Still having it with a jump. But either way, I think that's probably the best way to handle it. Alternatively, well, it's not... We'll talk about that if we have a future video on the subject. Hopefully you found that helpful. Here are the names of all of our lovely cult supporters. Many thanks to all of you. If you'd like to get your name in those credits, check the link in the description and head over to our Ko-fi. You can become a cultist neophyte to become credited at the end of our video, or you can become an acolyte to gain early access to videos in addition to credit. Now, if you aren't in the mood for membership, you can always leave a one-time tip. If you enjoyed this video and are not already subscribed, consider hitting the subscribe button down below. And maybe give us a quick like, both options are free. Also, don't forget to ring the notification bell so you will always be notified when new videos come out. If you have any thoughts, questions, or suggestions, leave them in the comment section. Or if you just want to let out your pent-up rage, give us some smack talk. Until next time, goodbye.